Hello everyone, this is Christian Town Interactive, and in this video we're going to start off by changing the way that we interact with both the accounts and the routes within our state. So right now, when we want to create a new account, we access the index property of that state by state.accounts.index. By the time that we're done here, we're going to adjust that to using a string indexer. Right? So everywhere that we need access to the accounts within the state, we will just use that indexer, and the same way with routes. Once we're done there, we're going to start doing a little bit of domain modeling. So in the end, what we want to deal with is securities. Securities are going to be composed of different properties, and one in particular is a category. The category, though, is going to be composed of several other components. So we're going to start off by building the base components now. In this video, we'll deal with creating what I'm calling a market and a segment descriptor. And those are the things that we'll see in this video. Before we get started here, I want to say thank you for watching the video, and also thank you if you're a subscriber, and if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll think about subscribing to the channel. With that said here, let's go ahead and get started here. So what I want to do is, before we add stuff, is sort of update the way that we're creating things for the store and such. So right now we have the state, which, so we have state.accounts and .routes and such. I want to change the way we're doing this here. So to start with, what we're going to do is come into the store constants. We already have them. Just going to rename these things over here. All right. Problem is sort of a disconnect between these constants and how we're accessing the states and places. So let's go ahead and save that. Of course, that save is now broken a few things, but let's go into the store types here. So in the store types, we have the accounts and such, but we'll import somewhere, some spot, I don't know, right here, I guess. So import from, and let's just import those store constants that we just modified. So what's that? State accounts and state routes. So instead of accessing or specifying them this way, what we'll do is say this. Oops. Delete that. All right, so now we've updated our store types, and of course now we've really broken things. Go ahead and close those. First things first, we're going to our account module here. So in here, what we'll do is, since we've already got the constants coming in, is we need the state accounts. Oops, comma please. And one other thing that I'm going to do is bring in the initial state that we've already defined, maybe right here. So import from store / account initial state. And I'm going to rename these actions. So I'll make them account actions, account mutations. Before I changed or fixed all those, we're going to keep on doing this. So account state is now equal to just state accounts, and that's the initial state. Okay, so now let's deal with our errors here. So of course we need this. Everywhere we have .accounts, we just come in and now use this string indexer. Probably should have find and replace for this, but at least you can see what is changing. And we're good to go in our account modules now, I think. Let's go over here. Some sort of same problem with the route. And while we're at it, import from /store / route initial state. And again, we rename these, so route actions, route mutations, and let's export the state, export const and I guess route state. Actually, I guess state routes. Apparently, I forgot to import that initial state. Back up and see where we got that from now. So we have the state routes and the constants. So that's good. Same deal here. Take the string indexer and replace all the routes. Save that. So our route module is now fixed, I believe. And next up is our store here. It's completely broken. But now instead of having these castings going on, we can just, or rename these going on, we can just pull these back. Perfect. And we need the account state as well. Oops, let's get rid of that initial one. And we need route state, which we will get rid of that one. So the only thing we have to do now is the same thing that we were doing in the actions and mutations. Things are a little more uniform now. All right, let's go ahead and save that. Check real quick. Getting there. So we got one more thing to fix before we can add stuff. So if we go into the routing, we go into our routing service here, we're accessing state.state.routes. So I don't think that we have anywhere that we're importing the, oh yeah, we are, iState. So inside of here, we will get the state routes. So the same deal again, where we have, I think only two places, right here and right here. So now, if we save that, everything is up to date and not having to worry about what the state is called anymore. So we're just accessing it through that constant everywhere. We'll actually see where we'll do a lot of it later on. So next up, what we're going to do is start adding some pieces that we need in order to define a security. So what we'll do is to start with, go into the store constants here. Instead of me typing them, I'm going to copy and paste here. So security, in the end, will have a notion of a category. So every security will have a category. It's sort of how we differentiate them from one another and put them in some groups. And each category has several, what I'm going to call descriptors. So in this case, segments, territories, and types. Markets are separate, but we're going to have to define, these are basically us getting ready to add, I guess, more types to our store. And so let's start by coming into the store, creating a new file. This one I'm calling security-descriptor. That's just because I can't come up with a better name for it. So exporting an abstract class, descriptor, and if we do our constructor, private read-only, we'll have an ID, which is a number, and private read-only text, which is a string. All right, so let's get access to those. So public get ID, that just returns this .id, and public get text, return this .text, and oops, underscore. All right, so now we have text and ID. I'm going to try and do it as I go along here. At some point in time, we're going to have to, or we're going to want to be able to save the state so that when the application is closed, then we can restart it from where we were. I'm going to try and keep up to date with being able to do that. So again, because I have no other better name for anything, We're going to create a method on here that just returns the things that we need to save to disk. So ID, and text. We won't need that for quite a while, but we've got it anyway. Let me save that. Close that. So we'll create our first one here and store, so new file, security market.model.ts. And so we'll import from security descriptor. Perfect. And we just export class. This is the security market model, which extends the security descriptor. That's actually all that we need, at least for a good while, is just ID and text. So there's several of these things that just have an ID and text associated with them. I'm going to create a new file again. So new file, security-constants.ts. Again, I'm going to copy these in. So as far as the market goes, at least to start with, we'll have these three. So these three different markets where securities are traded. Go ahead and save that. And we'll create another new file. And this one we call security-types.ts. So copy and paste again. So here are the constants that we have from the store. So again, we're dealing with the markets now. Later we'll have segments, territories, and types. And import from store/security market model and security market model. With that, we'll export an interface, which is an security markets. I guess it should be market model state. Well, let's keep with the notes. There's an S. Markets. It's our usual. It's an index, which is a number, and items, which in this case is the security market model array. So the state export interface security state is indexer state markets security market state model. So we save that. So we're good to go there. And the next thing that we need here is a new file and security dash market initial state.ts. So we'll do our importing store/security market model and import from store/security types security markets model state. And again, if I had IntelliSense to start working on initial save or initial creation, I would just type them in. But so we need the markets that we have in our security constants, and now we'll have a const markets, and that's going to be security market model array. Starts off empty. I'm going to create a function to do it this time. So create market, give me a number and a text. We can create a market, so we'll have markets.push new security market model, the ID and the text. The part that's going to help with us doing this is we're going to return the ID plus equals 1. Or what we were doing with the accounts manually. Looks a little nicer this way, I think, a little more helpful. So let index equal 1. So we'll say index equals create market. We need to pass in that index. And I started with the New York Stock Exchange index. Next one, NASDAQ and index. And last but not least, perfect. So now we can export const and initial state. So it's an I security Marcus model state. And we're going to say that it should be an index and items, markets. Perfect there. Let's go ahead and save that. And like I said here, maybe we'll squeeze in. I was going to stop there, but I feel like we went through that pretty fast. So let's try and tack on at least one more. We'll do one more here. So in this case, it'll be a segment. So new file, security segment dash model. It's going to be the same thing. Import from store slash security descriptor. Store export class security segment model. Save that. That's good. And into our security constants here, where you at? So we have the markets in there. And once again, we'll just copy in. So now we have some, what I'm calling segments. We'll save that. We have to add to our security types. So bring in the model that we just created. Import slash store slash security segment model. Security segment model. Have our same interface. Security. Uh-oh. Can't get help typing something new. Security, what do I call it? Segment. Probably should be segment since the other one was. But state index, which is a number, and items, which is the security segments array. Perfect. Let's go ahead and define that. So we have the segments, security segment state, save it. Types are good. And of course, last thing that we need here is the initial state. So new file, security segment initial state.ts. Import in all of those constants that we just defined for this. Import from store slash security segment model. Import from store and security types. We need our interface, security model state. Okay, same deal as before in the previous one. So segments, security segment model, empty array. Our function takes in again our number, text, which is a string again, segments push new security segment model ID text ID plus equal 1. Helps if you name this thing. So create segment, let index equal 1. And so we got the gist here. Let me just copy these things in. So we have all of the segments here pulled in with their text. And export const initial state segment model state, which is an index, and items, so segments. All right, we'll save it there. And I think it's probably a good time to stop for now. Have so many changes all in one video. So basically what we've done to start with is sort of redefined how we deal with the account state and route state to start with, such that now we don't have it defined in two different places, these constants, that the name of the state, and so we've got it all in one place. We're using a string indexer to access them everywhere we were accessing them before, and we've added a couple of what I'm calling security descriptors, or market and the segment. Helps if you remember to turn stuff off. But anyway, those are the things that we've taken care of in this video, and we're going to continue and add a couple more. Like I said, we have the territory and the types, and then we have the broader thing, the category and securities themselves. But we will deal with those in the next video. Until then, I will talk to you later. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. I know that your time is valuable. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and click the thumbs up button, as well as share the video with your friends. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. And once again, thank you, and I will talk to you in the next video.